Hello and welcome to another Cinekuest video here we didn't introduce everyone the last time.
We did not.
I
No,
always forget to do
we've
that.
kind of like gotten out of the habit of doing that.
Who was Roland?
It's fine.
This side. Daniel on this side. And today we're going to be continuing with
who
our...
are you?
Well, I'm Ray. Should know, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, how's it going?
That's
Cool.
Whatever. I hate you.
We're back again. To this. We're not even listening to this one over here.
Good.
Well, I mean, it's generally
Saves me the hassle.
course.
I can say whatever I want.
We're here with our time travel series, or at this point, Adventures in Time series. And today we're going to be discussing the film or movie Groundhog.
Classic
movie film.
Quite,
Nice.
Movie film Groundhog Day.
quite the classic.
Nice, Ray.
When did this movie drop, dude?
I don't recall.
Fuck, 80 something. My phone's
No, it was
way
like,
too far.
like late 90s, maybe like early 2000s.
What?
I thought
No
it was
way.
a late 80s trip.
Late 80s?
See.
Roland, please confirm. I thought it was an 80s movie.
No, it's not. Maybe like 90s.
93?
93?
There you go.
Damn.
Harold
Close.
Ramis. Harold Ramis is
Close,
really big.
really.
He plays the neurologist. in this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
also, I
he's
think he
the-
was one of the DJs.
Was he? I don't remember.
Yeah, like the voice like sounded like a
Oh,
certain
I
moments.
just know
Oh,
that he's credited as like the director. I think he co-wrote some of the screenplay because they
Mhm.
kind of like adjusted some things.
Yeah.
And he was the neurologist. that he
Yeah,
was
see, I
seeing.
remember all those roles,
Yeah,
but
his cameo.
but just certain points of the AM or FM sequence that Bill Murray woke up to every day on Groundhog Day.
Playing the Sonny and Cher song?
Yeah,
Yeah.
playing Sunny and Cher, but as far as like the DJs going back and forth, I think one of them may have been Raimi.
I don't know. Well, maybe.
I don't
If you-
remember.
if
I
anyone
don't
has a
remember that segment.
Theory about that, please let us know
Right.
because I really don't know. So
I didn't look up any trivia about this. Did you guys? Or do you
Not
know
really
anything, Ray?
necessarily.
This seems okay. So I'd like to ask you before we start, or did you want to go into the premise? Before?
let's go into the premise first.
Okay.
I'll be trying to make this very quick. Again, this movie is Groundhog's. Is it Groundhog's Day or Groundhog Day?
Groundhog Day, I
Groundhog
believe.
Day. Directed by Harold Ramis, and if you know, he was Egon in Ghostbusters.
Mhm.
Also directed a lot of movies with Bill Murray, Stripes.
Yeah.
Was also in
he's also in
Stripes.
Stripes.
He
Yeah.
was also in Stripes as well.
Yep. Great fucking
And
movie.
He was involved in Caddyshack as well, I believe, too.
I
don't know if he directed it or not, but I don't know.
know.
Something like that. A lot of the writing teams were together, like they pretty much were usually together in the, throughout
Yeah.
these movies. and stuff like
Yeah. They're all buddies.
that. So Bill
For
Murray
good
plays
reason.
Phil Connor.
Connor, yeah.
Phil Connor, and then it also stars Andy McDowell, who plays Rita. And if you know Andy McDowell, the only other movie I can reference her to is Multiplicity, and she also was in, I think, in Bad Girls, one with Drew Barrymore, and we talked about Madeline Stowe from 12 Monkeys,
Yes.
who was allegedly a man at some point.
Yeah.
Which a story I have heard, which I think is ridiculous, but whatever. Phil is kind of like this. He's a weatherman. He seems kind of like apathetic.
Jaded.
He's very
yeah.
egotistical.
Well, actually, no, he is he's jaded with the situation he's in, but he's got this whole thing in his head where he's going to be
That
picked
he's
up
gonna
by
be
a
getting
big
out
weather
of there.
station
Right.
or a
He's
big
very
news
egotistical
station.
kinda
like-
guy.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say like he's jaded, but let's not make him out to seem like some kind of tragic figure. He's narcissistic as fuck, for the whole movie
We'll find out.
until
Well, in this, basically, he is tasked with covering the story of the Groundhog in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, and he has to travel to this town,
Right.
which he
like he's done every
with
year.
Andy McDowell
for
and
4
Billy
years in a
Elliot,
row.
who was the camera guy.
yeah.
Mhm. Who's the camera
Cabin
guy?
Boy.
Yeah, exactly. Who?
You ever watch Cabin Boy? Anybody?
Oh man,
Yes.
it's a great fucking movie. These pipes.
Somebody-
And I was
Are
also trying to
clean.
remember him in
And I will
like
put that fucking
remember him
reference in
from
here. I'll look for it.
There's something about Mary.
Yeah, and he's also in a scary movie.
With the strong arm.
The strong hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The strong hand.
The butler.
Does he put his dick in the mashed potato? Like
No.
No, he just jams in
He
his.
just fucking.
no,
his
but doesn't he
strong
fuck
arm
the
over.
turkey? Like
he
at some
fucks
point?
the turkey,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
then she's just
He
like,
does.
homemade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just have it. And he talks with that weird voice of his the whole time. Let me
Right.
my strong
Yeah, of
arm.
course.
But I still love like his interactions with who was the paralyzed guy with David Cross.
David Cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
They're
just
always,
gonna
like, talking
walk
shit to each other.
away.
Oh,
Walk away.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's completely forgot about that. That's so fucking great.
What were you gonna say, Roland?
So I wanted to ask you like what your history with the movie was? Because this seemed like when you told me, which of you suggested this movie? Put it on the list.
It may have been me.
Yeah,
I think I listed out most of the ones that were actually doing.
I kind of expect this from you.
I think the only one I was most certain about was Time Cop, just because it says time on there.
So like for me it was Time Bandits, but okay.
Any of the
which
any
I
of the other
apparently
movies
flubbed.
that
I think the rest are my fault.
Yeah,
for the most part.
that was you because
like
when we were here making the list,
Yeah.
you basically just started dropping them.
So again,
one of y'all did Hot Tub Time Machine though, because it
wasn't me.
No, it was
somebody.
it had to have been
because I've never seen it.
That's
I
true.
had not seen
That's
it
true.
until
so
just a couple
So
days
that's-
ago.
it would have had to
It would have been
you,
either
man.
one of us.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But
because the list kind of like was adjusted.
I didn't really
at some
help you
point.
with the list. You guys sort of worked on it and showed it to me, and I was
yeah,
like,
because you
"That's
were busy
great."
talking to Janelle.
Unless
I was trying not to be
Then
rude.
I must have said Hot Tub Time Machine then because
No, like again, like yeah, you guys, you worked out a quick list, and then we just reviewed it.
and we
was
kind of like made
the
it
end of
into like sort of segments where like some of them are like
Comedy, some of them are trippy, some of them
action,
are serious in tone.
adventures, like, and that was unintentional,
Mhm.
and we just kind of like grouped them. in
Yeah,
that way.
Well, I mean,
actually,
like,
that
it's
was
just
that was
easier
my
that
fault.
way, man,
Actually,
no?
again, because after we
So
had the initial
fucking
list, I was
organize
drinking a
that
night or
shit.
two after that, and I was thinking like, okay, well, how are we gonna like kind of release these episodes? Like,
Right,
kinda like
So, I wasn't even thinking like that, but yeah.
So,
try to pair them
yeah.
up. Like, but anyway,
when did you first see this movie, Ray?
I saw this when it came out. I didn't see it in the theaters. I just rented it. So I probably like 94, 95, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like this movie a lot. I've seen it many times.
See, that's what I was expecting when I was watching this. Like again, like you suggested this, I was like, this seems like a Ray movie, like easy.
But it's fucking Bill Murray.
Exactly.
So I mean,
all right.
I mean, I you can say it's Bill Murray, but I mean, there's some other Bill Murray movies that you probably wouldn't jump to, like
Garfield.
Garfield.
I mean, there are exceptions.
What is that one with Scarlett Johansson?
Lost in Translation.
Yeah,
that movie was fucking dog shit.
I'm not gonna go and watch that
Nope.
movie.
Nope,
I
never.
rented it, and I was like,
I saw
"What the
enough.
fuck is this about?"
Saw the
I'll
clip.
watch Rushmore,
And I was
that movie
done.
a lot.
Yeah, what? Yeah, sure.
Rushmore's good.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah.
that's just me. What about you, Roland?
So I've known about this movie for the longest motherfucking time, but no, I never watched it before. The one I had seen,
Did you?
Oh, you've never seen it until like
Yeah.
now?
Are you
Oh
serious?
wow,
Oh, shit.
word, another MoQuest.
the
verse.
one that I was forgetting and like for all these years confusing it with was Scrooged.
Oh, word.
It's
Yeah,
another
yeah.
Bill Murray movie, but it's
which
his
I
fucking
will
take.
watch a lot too. That is a Christmas
Scrooge
movie.
is
Like we
awesome,
should go through some of
That is
that.
a Christmas movie to watch. Yeah.
Literal fucking Christmas movie. Motherfucking Bill Murray is an asshole. Well, again. Anyways.
No, there's
Anyways.
moments of Groundhog's Day, and I think about that. With Scrooge, I'm almost like, dude, this is just
The same
like
guy.
a non-Dickensian version of Scrooge.
I guess so.
So, no, yeah, like for the longest time, I'd known about the premise of this movie, and I just never got around to seeing it. It was one of which is weird because like this is a Bill Murray classic. It's a fucking, it's from the late '80s, early '90s era of fucking like this type of comedy, which they're pumping out tons of these. So those sorts of things get aired fairly often, and I never fucking saw it. Which was like, okay, whatever. Just thinking back to that was kind of strange because like I've seen so many of his fucking movies. But no, yeah, like this was I already knew the plot. I mean, I didn't necessarily know how it was going to end. I just figured it was going to be some kind of hippy dippy happy crap, and it was very abrupt. Kind of all right, we're done, which I was fine with because that was something that was really going to fucking annoy me. I did not want them to try to explain the mechanism of like the whole fucking like getting locked in time. Like, did he get fucking cursed by a witch or some shit off screen in the beginning of the movie that we didn't see?
I
Or,
heard
like,
someone's like theory
was he
that
fucking
that was
like
the case thing.
was that fucking B&B that he stayed in there at that fucking town like built on top of an Indian burial ground or some shit? Or I don't know.
I think
like,
that would have taken you out of the movie in general. Just
I
like whatever kind of
mean,
messages they're trying to.
This is like
I'm trying to have some fun. Excuse
like
me.
a moralistic
Right.
universe.
Okay, he was
of
cursed by
time
God for
travel
being an
rules.
asshole. There we go. All right. And like to relive this day over and over, Which how many times do you think he actually fucking had to relive
Well,
that day?
we'll get to that.
I thought like it was
We'll
just
get to that in
a
just a moment because
Okay,
like there's
so
I looked at some stuff on that
Yeah.
and like we'll get to
So,
that.
okay.
one thing
cool.
that I wonder about though is how the resolution of this movie, like what the right sequence of events that led him to escaping,
Right.
isn't it kind of cheating because he used so many other days to get to those ends?
Well,
Not
that's the thing, I don't
necessarily.
know.
I mean, in the sense that yes, he gets the opportunity to get it right at some point,
Well, yeah, but it takes an extreme
but it takes so much time. Yeah, to a
amount of
point,
circumstances.
to a point
yeah.
to where he wants to die. You know,
Well,
like
it
he's,
does.
well, no,
He's-
he wanted to die before he
he's
wanted to make it right.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what I mean. I'm like to that extreme. To it pushes him to a point where he almost like loses his sense of self or his sense of not his identity, his ego. His ego fucking dissolves at the end of the movie, which is weird as shit because he is such a bastard throughout the whole thing. He tries to manipulate everyone in that fucking town. at
Well,
one
and
point.
he does.
He does.
He does to a point. Yeah. It doesn't work on what's her name?
Rita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because how much information did he glean by fucking people over? Then, like towards like the perfect day, he's like,
Mhm.
"Oh,
right.
this is
yeah.
Abilene Jenkins, and she's into fucking hentai or whatever." You know, like,
Yeah.
Well, speaking
like,
of like,
how did he get that information?
Well-
you know, was
Well,
it
like in
through
the same way that he
nefarious means?
banged, what was that girl's
Well,
name?
he
By
banged a
asking
couple
her
chicks.
questions.
Yeah, he just said it the day before.
You
and
just
he
have
was
to
like,
assume it was an off-screen
"Hey,
thing.
you are," and like, "Where'd you go to high school? Who's your 12th grade English teacher?"
Right,
and then
yeah.
from those, he's able to fucking.
Yeah,
Right.
stick his pee-pee in her. It works.
when did you watch this movie?
Initially, I don't recall, but I know the first time that I watched it fully, I was an undergrad. I think, 2008, sometime in there, or
Right.
whatever. Maybe I was in grad school at the time. I don't, but it was within my 20s that I fully.
It wasn't as in the earliest time that it did come out, like so like not in the early 90s or anything.
90s.
So like 2000s.
No. Like
It's
so,
like
like
a
the
few years
time,
later.
like because I was aware of the movie existing, had an
Yeah.
idea of it, but when I actually sat down and watched it,
Yeah.
I was in college.
Oh, okay. Right.
It's busy watching reruns
So
of
it-
Ghostbusters.
So I was thinking about it. It's probably been about maybe 15 years or so since I had
All right.
watched it fully for the first time. So it had been a while. I forgot about a bunch of stuff. Like how many
Okay.
times tried to like ice himself and all that bullshit. Like
Yeah. So I mean, Phil's Bill Murray's character Phil basically gets locked in a time loop. Basically, he's just reliving the same day over and over and over
Mhm.
again. We don't know why. We don't know how.
yeah,
It just happens.
Yep.
He
It's
wakes
great.
up
It's perfect.
and we hear Sonny and Cher's "I Got You, Babe" seems like a million
Oh,
times
fucking
to the
hell.
point where I hate.
I
can't
hate
hear the
that song.
anymore.
I hate that.
it.
I hate that fucking song. I
So-
hated it before I
and
saw
The
this
song
fucking
was already
movie.
sitting on edge for me, but
One
like
thing
It
that-
never was. I hated
one
that
thing that
song
was clear to
before
me
I ever
was
saw
like,
this
holy
fucking
shit,
movie.
Sonny's voice kind of sucked.
It does.
Like
He's not. He's just sort of like,
because it's like he's trying to
Eh.
be Bob Dylan kind of,
Yeah, there
like,
you go.
and it's just
and Bob
trash.
Dylan is bad enough. So
You shut your fucking mouth.
He's the
Shut your
what
fucking
would you
mouth.
call that? What would you call that?
No,
like,
you're in timeout.
no, I'm not.
You're in timeout.
I'm taking myself out of timeout.
Put you in free speech jail.
Never, never take. What? That's not a thing. Fuck you. Sorry. I mean, I don't know. You've never known above my wonderful, always ever present hate of Bob Dylan. He knows.
Probably no, but I probably just forgave that of you because
Oh, wow.
just
You're
I-
such a
out of it.
friend.
I mean-
you're such a friend. You're such a friend. Ray knows though.
I know,
Never.
but I mean, there's a lot of hatred for Morse music for like
Yeah.
a lot of
That's
music for this
fair.
guy. So I mean,
Oh, there's lyrics.
Yeah.
yes, that's
yeah.
what it
There's
is.
lyrics.
Bad ones and bad singing.
Shut the fuck up. And actually, I've noticed the singing. Dylan himself is like,
No, yeah, he says
sure, I
he
don't sing
sucks.
like Liberace, but
And
we
I
hit all
agree
the
with
same
him.
notes.
Ugh. Trash.
So in this movie, we don't know, but I mean, do you all have any ideas of why
No.
Phil is chosen to? And again,
No,
There's
No,
no.
you don't.
It just seems like there's
That's
some-
why I love it. That's why that's why I like it as a fucking device for this fucking plot.
it's
You
not
don't need
explained.
shit. It's so like they focus on him.
It's his gradual like.
Change.
Well, as he starts off like an egotistical asshole,
Mhm.
and then he pretty much
goes through his chrysalis.
So
Well,
yeah,
like,
he devolves like he's
when
like,
he realizes that he's repeating these days and like he has no like consequences and responsibilities is when he fucking obviously goes off the rails and shit. You know, he's
Right.
punching people, he's fucking everyone that he can.
But he comes to that realization when he's drinking with those guys in the bar.
Yeah, he's
And
like,
that
I
one
do whatever
guy,
the fuck I
yeah.
want.
yeah, that guy's like, he's like, what would you do if you could like relive the same day? He's like, do we have no consequences?
Yeah,
He's like, we could do whatever we want. He's like, we can do whatever we want. And then that's,
Dude, actually,
that's
one of my
fine.
favorite scenes in this movie was in that scene where Phil is asking the two redneck dudes, like, you know, what if you lived the same day in, day out? Like it was always the same crap.
and the
you
guy,
never
none
grow.
of it,
He's like,
nothing ever changed, nothing mattered.
yeah, he's
it's
like, well, that's my life.
sounds like
Like-
my life. Yeah.
Like, I thought that was brilliant.
He just there was those two guys he just met randomly in the bar talking
Yeah.
about their shitty lives together.
Now, the other question I had about his time loop is that is he like some kind of an time warp kind of thing where the whole world is being affected? Like, is the whole world
You would have to assume as
going
much,
through a loop? But the problem is that everyone would be in like some kind of
because otherwise an entire town would be like
what's
fucking
the whole town is going
months
through
or
it.
years
No,
or
no,
whatever
no,
the
but-
fuck behind everyone.
no, but
wouldn't it?
I would say that they're potentially in a pocket universe.
You think so?
Yeah, just like whatever event triggered the time loop scenario happens outside because there's stuff, even though it's in like little sleepy Punxsutawney, Philadelphia,
Pennsylvania.
there's still, or Pennsylvania, yeah, there's still impacts between like the relationships those people have with the outside world, and none of that seemed to change from what we could be told. So I think that like, so I think that like,
change though, dude, with the day repeating. I don't understand.
well, no, it's because everything else is still like, I don't think it's affecting the entire world. And if it is, then like, then maybe Bill Murray isn't egotistical. It's just how it is.
If it hadn't, man, wouldn't some like his news company have called him or some shit and been like, "Hey, bitch, fucking Groundhog's Day was like last week. Why are
they
you guys
couldn't.
still?"
No. I'm suggesting that whatever times
Do you think they may
events-
have like, according to the outside
completely
world,
shut
they
them
may have
off?
it made an alternate timeline that grouped back up with, you know, finally when things were right based on whatever time
Mm-hmm. They
travel
brought
rules
him
are.
right back into
So then he goes to
modernity.
February 3rd and nothing really changed.
And
because
all of a sudden,
he
the
reports
newspapers
on
and
Groundhog's Day stuff. He gives to Ed McDowell, and they finally hit, you know, February 3rd.
I'm still confused as to whether if they're in like a pocket of time situation, like if the outside world is continuing on and they're just in the loop.
I mean, okay, you know what I like about
If
your
he would have
idea?
leave like outside of that time like little hole there,
Yeah.
and they go out like, does
And
he
it
still
would
have a
just sort
job?
of
Does
fade,
like,
it would
do
just
the
sort of
whole-
blend it right back in
all-
when they brought him back. When Bill Murray's character was fucking.
So I'm saying it's like kind of like Hot
taken
Tub
out
Time
of
Machine,
it.
where they like, assuming it's the same
So-
timeline, they weave right back in. I'd say Groundhog's Day is like more successful in like that reintegration of these
Okay.
altered events.
well, because it
because
incorporates
then
any
it just-
change into a
Yeah.
into
So
the
like,
fucking
and so the thing
timeline.
is like, time is still happening on the outside in the timeline A, but
in that little
you're,
pocket.
you know, in the pocket universe, it's almost timeless, is what I'm thinking.
Okay,
so
so,
like,
like,
Bill Murray
right.
has like basically eons to make it right, and then he gets popped.
There's no
and
real,
then
like,
he gets brought back, or
there's
the
no
rest
real,
of
like,
them get brought
rules of,
back
like,
in modern day.
normal concept of time in the
See,
real
I
world.
think that basically
Normal
like timeline
concepts
A
of
like
time.
froze.
No, like,
I know what you're
Okay,
saying,
so
but
it
I'm
froze.
just like,
Like
you
it
know,
froze, so
Right.
like everything's ready to go to February 3rd, but so potentially wherever events are happening in Bill Murray's like
But that's-
pocket
So
but
universe-
that's
the only
still-
thing
but
I
that's still
like
affecting the
about your
outside world,
idea,
though,
man,
right?
because it
I don't know if it does or not.
it answers some questions, but at the same time, like it's the only reason I don't think it works is because it's considerate. But that's also the reason why I like it. It's fair.
Well,
It's
see, and
because
that's
like
why
if
I'm-
you
I'm-
put them into their bubble and their pocket, yours doesn't fuck with anyone else. Everyone else keeps living with their own shit. You know, because if it didn't, then selfish ass Bill Murray is fucking over the entire fucking time for the world, resetting it every goddamn day for him for eons, like you said, before he gets shit right. You know, which in a way would be par for the course for him because as a selfish prick, he wouldn't fuck. You know, he would be like, "I'm the talent. We need this. We need to get this right. Fuck everyone else."
Now,
But your idea is a very neat kind of sort of
The only thing that I
couch way
don't
to
like about my thinking on it is that it's not as developed as I wanted to be because
No, because you're just
last
trying to
night
answer
I
the
didn't-
bullshit
I
of
didn't
this.
get a
That this
chance
makes
to
no sense.
fucking
These
catch
guys
the
give
entire
no.
movie, and so I finished it up about half an hour because just the way the day played out.
Mhm.
Because the grocery store apparently like everyone decided to be just the most
mean-
in the way, slow moving, just. They're the only people
So-
in the store, so like their carts are like literally like at an angle, blocking like 3/4 of and it's like, oh, what do I do? So when it finally played out, I was like, oh shit, I was sitting there going like, fuck, maybe I need to skip through a bunch of this movie. And I'm glad I had the time to. Like, I skipped through a couple of minutes towards the
A lot
last
of,
like 10
a lot of
minutes.
this
I was like,
movie
okay, I
that
realized it's going, but
you can skip through. A lot of it is banter, but it's really cool. Like it's really
well, no, I think
really
that,
funny shit.
I think that it's not just banter. I think that if
Well, I
you just
mean,
kind of assume he's
it's-
living the same day over and over and just kind of like skip through or not pay much attention to it,
Right.
you would miss some of the nuances of his
Sure.
character's development and his
So
understanding
it
of what's
seems
going
like
on.
banter, but
and how the
when,
rules
when
work.
he works things through, or when it goes a little more in depth, is when like he started exploring some pretty fun ideas, like where he's joking about him being a god, and
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know if
Rita's
he's
like
not convinced he's not a god at that point.
so.
Well, because I mean, he's fucking immortal,
Yeah, he's functionally immortal. Yeah.
He's how many times does he kill himself?
So like on screen, like
Yeah,
it's
on screen.
4. I don't
Yeah.
know. Well, off screen,
times?
he's fucking done like tons.
he
The toaster, he jumps off the building, he gets hit by the car, and
he goes off the cliff first, right? Is that what he does?
Yeah,
first?
with-
right, yeah, on
in
the
the
truck,
truck,
in the
yeah,
pickup with the
with
groundhog.
Punxsutawney Phil,
That's
yeah.
a drive for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, excuse me. So that's
And they seem more worried about the fucking.
when he
groundhog
goes
than
later on to
they are
say
about
that
him.
he's been burned and stabbed, and I forget
Yeah.
what else.
Yeah.
So you can assume that he's
And I'm kind of curious
at it.
because I mean, like as soon as the lights go out for him, like he immediately wakes up in the next.
right.
So there's no like point in time where he is.
Granted,
stuck-
that
stuck
isn't
in that other
actually
plane.
But
dead.
that
or
isn't.
whatever
No, he
for,
is.
like-
He is. Remember, because they show the corpse to the fucking.
See, that's what I'm saying. Is that
Oh, yeah.
So, like, as a function of time, once he's dead until 6, right, or a.m., and then they bring him back.
so? Is he just like sleep and then he wakes up?
I mean, that'd be a plot
'Cause
hole. I
they-
can only
they-
assume. You can only assume.
But
I don't know.
like they're
Sure.
not exploring the fact of whether or not there's like. some
It's
kind of
like when
afterlife.
Jacob was.
Yeah.
He's sitting dead for a while.
Yeah,
So I mean, what's going on with?
and that
him
was a weird
whole-
scene. That was a weird fucking scene. I think when they were in the fucking corners or whatever the fuck, and they're like,
Mhm.
"Look at the body," and he's just, they're dead,
Yeah.
And you see fucking Rita and what's his face.
Can't remember his
kinda
name,
like,
but-
His name, but yeah.
kind of
Played
like
by Chris
"Meow,
Elliott, though."
meow,
Yeah, and he
you
just
know?
looks at them.
Yeah, he's like,
He was a
"Oh."
good guy, but what I thought was funny about that scene
Yeah,
is
but
like
he
he was
said
trying to,
he said a lot of bullshit.
well, he said a lot of
There's a
bullshit,
guy that I
but
knew, and
but
he
he was
was-
leaning in Andy McDowell, so he was thinking like maybe this is the night we fuck.
yeah, he was
Yeah.
trying to play it
I'm
off,
pretty sure he was like thinking that.
and we all
Let's
know
work
that
through the sadness.
that- did not happen.
He's very vulnerable right now.
He's yeah, not that vulnerable. So yeah, that's where I was. That was a weird scene.
Like
I thought it was
fun
interesting
if there was a
for the purposes of understanding the fucking story. Like as far as the timelines and that goes, I don't know that was intentional. for
So
them.
what if the slap
I just made a
montage
shit
where
joke.
Andy McDowell's slapping Bill Murray over and over would have been fun if they
Oof.
had scenes where she worked in where she's slapping
Kicks
Chris
him in the
Elliott
dick.
instead?
Yes, that would have been a lot funnier. Actually.
Yeah, just like Murray,
But,
Murray, and then
uh,
apparently, and then you
right.
work
You just
at like
get
the
one him,
days
one
where
of him
Murray
in there.
fails, and
Yeah.
then Chris will swoop in, and he still
What if-
gets
what
fucking
if it's like
slapped.
it just starts fucking switching between them, or first slapping both of them and shit.
Yeah.
He's like trying to come in for seconds or something.
And there's a scene where they're both shirtless, and then she slaps them both
Yeah.
at the same time. Just
Nice.
Now, there's things that at some point, Bill Murray, like again, he's like tries to kill himself. He goes through like little.
He goes through some very major changes, but they
What-
seem
He starts off as the egotistical person, then he
Yeah.
goes into like I can do whatever I want kind of thing,
right.
and then like
yeah,
that
he
as
has
it
the,
continues
the
on,
God
he becomes,
complex kicks
he
in.
becomes depressed,
Right,
and
yeah.
he just keeps on reliving.
Then he becomes
the same
suicidal,
thing.
and then
Yeah.
he becomes like sort of resigned, right? To
Yeah. At what point does it
not
click?
necessarily accepting.
At what point does it click in his head to like change his ways and start like either
Dude, you
helping
know,
people and stuff like
and
that?
I, from my previous remembering of this movie, before I watched it again, I was like, I was certain there was something like
When-
integral where the change actually
Yes,
happened.
yes.
But I watched it again
Well,
today, and I was just like,
it's when he started
Um,
enjoying his days with Rita. wasn't it? Like when he literally tried to explain his God complex to her,
Well,
and it falls apart.
I'm not sure
because
that's the case. Like, at some point, he just realizes he has no choice but to
He has no
change some
control.
shit, you know, like.
Well,
But that's never clear. It's just all of a sudden he starts just like, oh, I'm going to start taking piano lessons and do all this like innocuous thing. I'm going to go on my chores or whatever.
I thought you were talking about the specific scene. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, no, there isn't. Like, it's a gradual.
Oh no! I was
It's
like, it's gradual,
happens.
but there's never anything to suggest that he should even begin these gradual
No,
changes.
yeah,
too
no.
much.
He just sort of naturally stops wanting to be an
Because it's
asshole.
because it's like why?
It's weird.
But the thing is,
it's not.
the only thing that doesn't really track is like if he wants to be with Anna McDowell on some perfect day,
Right.
and that a lot of those efforts make sense. However,
Well,
it's not clear why
But
he goes to go learns to play piano.
well, he has all this time. I mean, and he thinks like he's not going to get out of this loop. Like
Well,
maybe he
yeah,
just
yeah,
decides
so-
to like.
but the thing
okay,
is- but-
you know?
But
At
the
that
thing is,
point,
the
man,
thing is, like
the
the
thing
long con
is-
for that is
here-
that he
here
learns
we
how to play
go.
the piano perfectly for the Groundhog's Day dance thing. or
no,
whatever.
I don't think that's what he planned that out for. I think what was happening is that he realized that he wanted to become that fucking person that Rita was talking to him about.
You're such a romantic.
It's a fucking romantic comedy, dude. It's a fucking romantic comedy. I was watching this thing and it was going to be
yeah,
some
but I'm over
depressing
here
ass
talking about
bullshit.
pocket universes
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
fun little
And I'm
things. And,
trying
you're
to make
like, what
sense of
about the
this.
love?
Because it so fucking ends up in the goddamn end. So like, give me a goddamn break. I'm trying to make sense of this bullshit fucking like touchy-feely crap. Jesus Christ.
One of the things, the questions I
hate
had.
you for making me logic this crap out. Ugh.
That's what we do. That's
Well,
what we're
then quit the
doing here.
podcast.
I
Because we're
should.
watching the shit of everything.
Ugh, the worst.
How long is he in this time loop?
I don't know. I want to know. I honestly think almost like thousands of years. How the fuck else could he learn everyone's goddamn like?
Because it's
Like
a small
thoughts
fucking
and
town. There's
dreams.
probably actually like 50
Yeah,
people
dude,
that
but
live there.
how-
Like
but-
everyone you see in the
Yeah,
square,
but do you think you
it's
could
probably
learn
everybody.
So okay,
How
say how many couple hundred?
how many hours does it
'Cause he
take
would
to learn
have-
like a new skill? Like,
Well, they say 10,000
okay,
hours to
so
become an expert or whatever.
well, how many days is that?
it
A fuckload.
I'm gonna do some math.
okay.
It's
So
a metric
like
fuckload,
to
I
learn
believe,
to
is
learn
actually the standard unit measurement there.
Sure, fuck load.
Yeah.
you. I mean like okay. So like in the sense of for example like conversational Spanish. Give yourself
416 days.
a little over a year. I was going to
Over a
say
year.
6 months to a year and a half to learn something.
So maybe
fairly-
this owes to my pocket universe idea. That's timeless.
he
Well,
doesn't.
Till
he
he
doesn't
gets it
just
right.
learn the goddamn piano. Though. He gets fucking good.
No. Oh, I mean, like there is
good enough to
It is timeless
perform.
in that like pocket universe,
Yeah.
so to speak. But I mean, within like I guess a
But
measured
I mean,
amount
like,
of
yeah,
time.
yeah. Like, but who
I
knows?
I
Because
could say
like,
potentially.
what if there's days? Because what if it's like the way time actually works? Like the perception of the people in the time loop is like
they
okay,
don't? They aren't unaware.
6 a.m. is 6 a.m. and you
Uh-huh.
know Phil died at 11:53, and for
Uh-huh.
them it's still 6 hours 7 minutes that passes. But for Phil, like in the scene where like he just goes to sleep for a second, he always wakes up at 6 o'clock.
Okay. What's your
So-
point?
What if time is affecting Phil differently
Does it matter?
within the pocket? Well, I think it is for his perception of events, because what if he, like, in his brain, he decides, you know what? I'm awake.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go climb up this fucking building. It's now 7:30. I'm jumping.
Okay.
I don't know if he experiences the wait between 7:30 a.m. to 6 the next morning,
Oh,
or
well, I
if
mean-
he just, snaps back.
Of course
Was,
not, dude.
was there ever a point in time in
There's
the
no
movie,
way you'd be able to tell.
where like he stayed awake? and,
it's
like,
immaterial.
No,
though.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
like the character's experience as far as like,
Yeah.
so like how much
I mean,
time
you
this
could-
actually
you'd
takes
have
to like
to-
say like the pocket universe is basically dominated
He
by
spent
the
6
time
hours
that
in heaven.
Phil is
and forgot
conscious.
it.
Right.
So he kills himself at 8 in the morning. Well, that
Yeah.
was a two-hour day.
Yeah.
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 Starting at 6 a.m. And then so
So it'd feel like 2 hours for him because he was
Who
dead
knows,
for the
but-
rest of it.
but let's assume, just off of what we know from
You wouldn't think it'd be a mood argument?
what they showed of his days, we probably had 20 different days that we see that play out, like where he's going through the same road, running into that same insurance asshole who was in
Oh,
Yeah,
you
but I mean, if
evil.
you're counting like just those scenes, I mean, there's also things of when like the scenes where Andy McDowell's like slapping him.
Yeah,
Technically, those are like that's one day, one
Oh,
day,
yeah,
one
yeah,
day,
yeah.
one day, one day,
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah.
When he kills himself, those are days
They're
as
all-
well.
yeah.
You know, I mean, because
No, right.
So
I totally forgot to calculate in the slap montage because he gets whacked like
A lot.
15, 20 times.
Some-
and then I
itself.
mean, there's also counting for the times where he learns the piano, the one he learns to sculpt, he learns to fucking
He becomes a honorary doctor.
Yeah,
and then of course like, he has to learn about everyone's days.
and also
Uh,
their routines to do all of his chores and stuff.
How many times does he go to that old
Yeah.
man, the homeless man,
To
and he
save
tries
him?
to like save him?
Man,
and stuff?
that
Like,
was
how
a
many times?
fucking good scene. Holy shit.
That
I
was a heart-wrencher,
not
man.
expecting that.
Yeah.
I was
So
not
actually,
expecting
maybe
that.
it was the old guy dying because that's when he was kind of in the idea that he's in his
That's a good point.
godhood,
You know what?
and the old guy dies, and when they told him like,
No,
everyone dies,
that's
and
the
he's
one
like,
I
not
completely-
not in this
I
my world or whatever,
completely
fuck, or whatever.
forgot,
So
man.
maybe that was the fucking
I take it
trigger
back.
where he's like, I need to
I-
make everyone's lives better
think
here,
you're
so maybe
right.
I can save this old fucker somehow.
That was the scene
maybe
I
if
was
I
trying to think of.
can't.
I've forgotten about that shit.
But that old man
Because
was
it's
gonna
all
die no
fucking
matter what.
weepy and
Right,
feely
but-
shit that I block it out.
But
Yeah,
but it may
yeah.
have taken Bill Murray or taking
Well,
Phil
like he doesn't accept it, right?
35 attempts to
Yeah.
figure out that he can't prevent that.
Yeah,
But he's like,
they-
so maybe if I can't change this,
What
at least
happens
I
the
can
first
affect
time?
all these other lives.
The first time the old man dies and he goes to the hospital, they tell him like his
Yeah,
heart gave out. He
he's
was old,
gonna
and he's
die.
like, "No,
He-
fuck
he
you."
gets his chart
And he
and
gets
stuff,
the chart. He's
yeah.
like, "No, today,"
So I mean,
And then the next scene? He's trying to give him like
Yeah, he's
he's
trying to
trying
like
sustenance
get it.
him.
Yeah.
yeah. And then at some point he realizes he can't do
Yeah.
anything, so he just feeds him and like kind of like
yeah, it makes him
Makes
happy.
him comfortable, and
Yeah.
then that starts. I think that starts kind of the
What does he
chores, like
say?
picking up that.
Man,
catching that
he
kid
said
comes
some
out of the
really
tree.
insightful shit when he was with the old man, which is again way. So
the only-
I
the
take
only-
it back.
the only part
Again,
I remember is when he's with the old man. He's like
Yeah, he's
giving him
eating.
soup, and he's like
really tough.
like you want to like it's really tough towards the bottom.
Yeah,
of
it's
the
Yeah,
really-
bowl.
it's
yeah, slice into the fresh bowl,
it's
then the
really tough.
sandwiches show up,
and the
guy's
struggling
like,
up
"Oh,
from the
shit."
bottom. Yeah, exactly. So like I heard that and I was like, damn, dude, okay. Again, like that sort of makes him seem out that he's a bit more
No, that's beautiful. Like
Yeah.
a bit more observant at that point, insightful. That was the scene I was trying to fucking remember. I agree with you. That would be the one I would say that was a
maybe
huge
that was the
fucking change
turnaround, yeah.
because it starts off very casual.
because I think at that point he'd
ignored that old man giving him money for fucking countless times, and then he finally fucking gave him some shit. And then later on, he finds out, like,
well, no, he runs into him like in the
Right.
alleyway or
Excuse
whatever.
me. Yeah.
And the old guy's like kind of like trying to collapse,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh no,
let me
like,
help you."
let's-
yeah. And then so he goes back and tries to change things, and it doesn't.
Because I think
Doesn't
even
work
then,
out.
like
And if
I think right before that was his first attempt to have a romantic tryst with Annie McDowell.
Rita,
Because he'd already banged like the,
What's her
the
face?
redhead and that
Yeah,
blonde or
yeah.
whatever. But I think like he was trying to romance Rita
Mhm.
at that point, and the old guy died or whatever. And yeah,
Well, it was after the fact,
I
like
think,
after she started slapping the shit out of him and stuff.
no,
and
no,
like
no,
he
that
was trying
was that was
to,
after. But I think that I
No,
can't
no,
remember. but
I'm certain, dude, because like this was one of those points where he was trying to figure out like what the fuck he was doing wrong. Like, why isn't this working? Why can't I bang this chick? Why does she keep fucking me up and stuff? And then that's when he sort of stumbles into this.
the old dude, yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't something he was like. It was one of the few things that he, he wasn't planning for himself. It was a
Right.
fucking casual encounter, and yeah, like it ended up being very impactful. I
Yeah,
think.
because I mean, and I think like the whole thing, like
because he
I'm
didn't
kind
know.
of God.
He didn't
Yeah.
expect
then
any of
or
this. Yeah,
a God,
Right,
And,
and
in
then
my
he
universe,
realizes-
there's loss,
Exactly.
and I will not stand for this. I'm going to make
Right.
everything. I'm going to try to do everything I can to make this world.
Well,
great.
I mean, one of the things he does prevent is that kid
The
from
kid,
falling
right.
into the
Yeah,
tree.
so, like, that's the
there's
thing,
There's
like,
that fun
it
joke that
triggers
he throws
him.
out, and he's like, "You haven't said thank you so many times."
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
so
that's
never-
part of it.
you
He
never
was, like, going and
told
saving
me
that
not
guy who
once,
was like
thank
choking in
you.
the
Yeah,
restaurant.
it's the
and
mayor,
lighting
right?
the
What does he
cigarette.
say? Like
I think, yeah.
hundreds of times or dozens of times of some shit. I've caught you and
Yeah,
never said
you
thank
said
you.
thank you.
So like
Yeah.
at that point, yeah, he starts going around and tries to fucking help people. and
So
save
I
them
mean,
and
at
shit.
this point, it's not exactly
Errands, right?
certain
Yeah,
the amount
changes
of
the
time.
tire and stuff for those
Yeah.
ladies.
that was some funny shit. They're just freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, we're not certain the
Um,
amount of time specifically, or we don't have like a certain amount of time.
It's countless.
We
That's
don't
what
know.
ends up
Actually,
happening.
instead of
Like,
time, let's just say how many instances that
Yeah.
Phil experienced that day.
there's no telling. It was enough
the only
to
thing I
drive
read
him almost insane.
about the amount of time, because I was kind of curious.
Yeah. You said you mentioned the
Was Harold Ramis saying whenever they were rewriting the stuff, because initially the screenplay didn't have any of the comedy. It was just some kind of like existential kind of like
really?
thing. And it started off with Phil already in the loop, and then they kind of at some point they did some kind of like
They rewrote it.
like exposition, and then of course like they go back in time and like explain everything.
Gotcha.
So Harold Ramis came in
okay.
and started adding like the comedy elements and stuff like that.
I was about to ask you, is that when fucking Harold Ramis came in?
Well, yeah.
Nice.
I mean, there were like some rewrites and stuff, and like even Bill Murray, I read at some point that he wanted it to be like not as comedic. Like they butted heads. This is like one of the
Interesting.
situations that's where like their relationship kind of soured,
Mm.
and they didn't work together for like a long, like pretty much after that.
Damn.
Mm.
But I really like. There's not real any details about it. But the one thing I wanted to get at was that Harold Ramis says that because there was a question posed to him about how long Phil is in this time loop, and he suggests that it's 30 to 40 years.
Whew.
Mind you, that's still a decade's worth.
Yeah,
But
dude.
actually, no, that tracks though, because
I mean,
he also learned French.
yeah, that's
during
right.
that time.
Yeah.
He
Was
learned
it
how to be a
17th
master
century?
on-
Poetry,
19th century
19th
French.
century.
Yeah.
French.
He learned how to fucking, had those
He learned how to fucking
accolades.
shave ice.
Yeah,
You know,
the
with the
ice sculpting,
chainsaw,
yeah.
the ice
Yeah, sculpting,
sculpting. What the fuck else did he learn? Damn it. Well, aside from the
He
piano.
spent all that time learning those people too,
Yeah.
Right. All the people.
because
So-
he knew all the spots in town,
Right.
and
he knew everything that was going to happen. He fucking stole the money from those. What did he do
Yeah.
with that money? He didn't do anything
he bought
with it.
he
Did he?
bought that fucking car,
Oh, that's
and he
right.
dressed up
and he
like
dressed
Clint
up a
Eastwood.
fucking
Yeah,
that's
like,
right.
For a fistful of dollars.
Yes,
And
that's
went to the movie and saw
right.
Heidi too. And then the chick asked him like,
Made
"What
her
about it?" And he
dress as
said
a
it was
French
one of his
maid.
favorite movies, and he's seen it hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that probably owes into the whole like
Right.
potentially 30, 40 years of experience. That's
Yikes.
fascinating.
Wow. Fuck that.
So 30, 40 years, he's like stuck in this loop. Like, he doesn't age at all. Like
No. Yeah.
so, like
Can't
like
die.
his
no matter what he
youthful
does.
nature is
He's
like,
outside of
preserved.
time,
Yeah, he's
dude.
preserved. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's funny because like you would think that maybe even though he's reliving these days, technically he is in a loop, but like it's still kind of progressing. Like he's not aging at all.
He's the only one aware
Yeah.
of it,
yeah.
which
no
is
one else
interesting.
is.
Yeah,
Everyone is stuck in a
the thing is, like
deja
all those
vu.
people are also caught in the 30 to 40 year
Mhm.
cycle, but they're not cognizant of that,
Yeah.
which
No.
is fascinating.
I'm curious as to maybe wonder if like the original screenplay had him actually aging while everyone kind of stayed the same.
Mm.
You know, if he's like stuck in the loop.
Yeah,
and he's
but
like
he's
still aging and
yeah.
gets older and stuff. And
Well, it'd be kind of like
That's-
a,
that would be-
a-
that's
a
some
reverse
Twilight Zone
time
shit.
machine where he looks in the fucking mirror
right.
and he sees he's like in his 60s, but everyone else still sees the same
Yeah. Exactly.
like
that would
early
suck.
30-year-old. Yeah.
Shitty.
And then he's trying to like fuck like someone on the line, and he's
Sounds
like,
like a-
has old man penis syndrom, and it's like,
It
and
sounds
they're
like a
what's going
bad
on?
Stephen
you seem
King
so
short
virile or
story.
whatever, and he's like, I'm older than you think, you know.
It's called flaccid. Yeah, man. Those are some of the questions I posed. I mean, I didn't have too many.
Word.
I mean, we have touched on a lot of the things that he did to change and to like change things in time. Because if, like, for instance, did the mayor die in the original like timeline?
Why? What do you ask that? I don't,
because Bill
because he
Murray
was-
wouldn't
he-
have been there
yeah,
to
he
save
couldn't, like,
him
save
when he
his
was
life, you know?
choking.
oh,
Like, what kind of injuries did the kid have?
That's
whenever
true.
He was
Yeah.
in the tree,
You know what?
How
You'd
did
have
that
to
affect
assume
his
as
life?
much because no one was there
Yeah.
to fucking help him.
Did the kid like maybe the kid turned out to be paralyzed? Or
Yeah,
something?
dude.
Well, I mean, it's this is a hot tub time machine question. Did they reattach the arm after the fact or not? You know what happened? Did he fucking lose it?
Did one of those ladies have a heart attack when they tried to like change the tire?
Yeah, maybe all of them did. Maybe it was all three of them trying to change the tire, and they all fucking
And
keeled over.
they all keeled over when they're trying to like take off the nut and
Yeah.
shit.
I don't know.
Too much strain on the heart.
Exactly.
Goddamn. And I was kind of curious as to like what got him? Like, what was
Or
the
maybe they
like,
they got to a payphone, called the fucking auto club, and they came up with a fucking serial murder of old ladies, and they died. And that's what Bill Murray's prevented by being like, no, they call, I'm here.
I mean, there's a lot of things
Get
you can
your bridge fucking
theorize
game.
for this
Yeah.
movie.
It's a lot of possibilities.
Let me see.
Where are you going though?
No, I was just trying to think of like any sort of scenarios where like him changing certain things, maybe for instance, like that couple that he bought like the wrestling tickets for, would they have gotten married after all? Would they have broken up? Who knows?
Well, I mean, remember he fucked up their marriage at one point.
Well, no, but the only thing is
Telling
that
him.
he knew that, because what if his perfect day that he made at the end sped up whether they got married or not? Because maybe they were thinking about getting married, you know, on the 3rd, and she had questions, and he had impartial knowledge of what was actually going to happen. But then he ended up fixing the timeline in that Puck universe where they get married that same day somehow, even though like hours before she's just like,
I don't know. Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know,
And then
original.
apparently he's so goddamn fucking suave and shit. He convinces her to go through the marriage that day. Yeah,
but no, that's just the power of Bill Murray, bro.
I
maybe.
think Bill Murray could save a lot of marriages.
Yeah, I mean, he
If
gave
he
him
wanted to.
WrestleMania tickets. They were fucking happy. That chick looked like she wanted to fuck him on the spot. Actually, she probably would have. But then she saw that her husband was mooching on Rita, and then she got angry and pulled him away.
That was on
Left.
another timeline event. So Bill Murray was able to cultivate it to where like
Oh, there we go.
everything worked out as it should have, not how primal nature of WrestleMania tickets makes you. Oh no.
Oh shit. We want to talk about our favorite scenes if we have any in this movie. So Daniel, I'll let you go first.
I loved the entire sequence after the bar when Bill Murray figured out he's like, I can do whatever the fuck I want. And
Goes on a drunken fucking
well, I loved the
driving.
Well, I don't know if he was all that
Chase.
hammered because he had such control of that
No, he
vehicle, but the
wasn't.
two guys beforehand,
Yeah,
you know,
they
the
were
one guy's
fucking-
like,
they were fucking
he was
hammered,
fucking
yeah.
hammered, and then his buddy's like, you know, come on, man, keys.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
friends don't let friends drive drunk. And he gets the
Yeah.
keys, and he like stumbles,
Yeah.
like right after he gets the keys, and
And then fucking guns it in reverse.
but yeah, but that whole scene, he doesn't drive the train tracks. He's like, I can do whatever the fuck I want, you know, and smash in, and he gets locked in the jail cell.
I was
and
kind
then
of
just
hoping
like,
he would have
wakes up
driven
back.
into
Yeah.
the train. I was kind of hoping he would have driven. into
I don't
the
think he had
train.
tested out that theory yet.
No, he hadn't. He
And I
hadn't.
think also
Well, 'cause,
I
like,
loved
he hadn't reached that
the
depression. He reached the apex of the God
Yeah.
complex.
well, no,
moments.
but he hadn't yet. But I think also like the conversation you had with Andy McDowell about
Well, I guess
him
you're right.
being
the start
a
of it.
god
Excuse me.
was fascinating. You know, just
Yes.
like it's the thing about like, okay, you know,
But he was very
if it was like you
non-nonchalant
and you
and
come to
nonplussed
like this,
about it.
like, yeah,
He
it-
wasn't
kind
like
of
smug or
no,
arrogant
it was
or
just like
anything.
by
point.
based on the experience I've had so far,
yeah,
I can potentially
yeah.
logically
you
state
know,
that I'm a god or I'm
calculate.
immortal at least.
No,
Like,
really, I
um,
don't die. Yeah.
Well,
I
like
don't age.
that scene opens up with him just going, "I'm a god."
And
And
oh,
she's
sorry,
like, "You're not a god."
I'm gonna sneak in one
Right,
little minor favorite scene because I haven't really listed out too much in the two I've decided was like run Xfinity +2 of the snowball fight scene
Okay.
where like Murray's just like rushing it. And he's just like
Oh.
psychotic. He's like, "Hey kids, let's have some
Right.
fun." And he's just
Yeah.
throwing balls and then or fucking
So he
snowballs
can
and
sort
shit.
of
And then like he really,
fast track his
lays
way
down
into
next to Andy
Rita's
McDowell, like not the whole like
pants.
cute pull down scene where she's
Right.
like, "Help me up," and pulls her down. He's just like falls down. And he like keeps like
All
awkwardly
right, let's
sliding
fuck.
towards her. Like,
Hold on, zip.
oh, that shit was just really fucking funny.
All right.
That was good. I did like that moment.
What about
Me?
you?
Oh shit.
Oh,
So,
good. The credits.
mhm. So we're done then.
Well, no, then I would have to give mine.
Yeah.
So let's see.
I'll give you two.
All right. So that's
Neither.
what about hypotheticals?
No. Okay, you get two hypotheticals or two hard line.
Lame.
Yeah.
Fine. Anyways,
You still get two though. You can even mix and match, and don't have to
fair.
tell us what it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, I am. I am gracious.
And I am so grateful.
Welcome to my court,
I feel so welcomed.
and you are judged mostly incompetent.
Well, agree to disagree. Anyways, My favorite two scenes in this movie. So if I had to think about it, I did like how it after his initial approach to trying to get his way with everything, basically everything. You know, I keep trying to remember the name of that one woman that he bangs like after asking her like 3 questions.
I don't even remember her name.
Yeah, but the one where he got the dupe was like, you know, the next day he was like, "Oh, I sat next to you in English senior year."
Yeah. Like, by the way, I'm popular because I'm here.
I think she
like,
was Nancy.
Yes, Nancy.
Nancy.
He's like, "Oh yeah, cool. I'm gonna do this like reporter thing because I'm big like stuff and you know important. So you'll be here for me later, right?" And you know he just sort of plays on that, and she falls for it. No, like so, the why the hell did I even mention that garbage? The point was.
Well, that was your number one. So
no. I was building in. So like what I was trying to remember was that how I was building into the scenes that I liked, and is that like doing all these fucking things that he has to pay no responsibility for or whatever. He tries that shit with Rita and it fucking backfires, and like not only once but like several times. So like yeah, when she slaps the shit out of him.
Was it like? What if it was like 25 years of like say it was 30? He was trying to like. You know, woo Rita. That'd just be fucking funny. Yeah,
just
dude.
beating the fuck out of him
Yeah,
for
man.
fucking decades. That's hilarious.
But at least he wakes up in the morning. His face doesn't hurt.
I guess. But his pride, maybe no. I don't know.
No, it's just
he's just
it's a learning opportunity.
Stubborn and I don't know.
And what was your other scene?
My other favorite scene. So I'm not sure about this one necessarily because, I mean, it's a very important scene and it's like the one we were talking about before. But I wanted to focus more on like the funny shit about this because it really is supposed to be a goddamn comedy. And I really can't necessarily think of something like that would, you know, I would equate that same amount of importance to, and that's when the fucking homeless guy is scenes, right?
Word.
From when it starts to the end, you know, like and
that whole sequence
every time
that
whole sequence of him just ignoring him, like he pretending to give a fuck, like, oh, I'm kind of looking for my money, and then towards like, I guess nope, there's nothing in this pocket, to like, you know, when he just gives him all his cash and all that other shit, right? So,
and that was a lot of money for a weatherman, I would say. Like, were they all ones?
Stripper stick.
Like, it was a fat stack.
Leftover stripper ones.
Like, was he constantly ripping off that money car to where he had all that cash on him?
But
I don't think he kept
the thing
any
is,
of it, did he?
He would have to.
Well,
No. Because in the timeline, because from the lighting in the scene where he does the heist, it's like more midday.
Yeah.
So like that truck wasn't shown until a certain point. So.
By the end of the movie, he's running those errands. He can't save that kid.
Because basically, he runs into the old homeless guy, like as he rounds the corner not long after he passes his hotel.
He's
in the
busy
morning.
robbing a fucking.
So I don't know. So and then the only thing that stays over from the day he repeated is his memory of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So there's no way to really like establish a nest egg, even if you're robbing, because how do you like steal stuff in the future and have it in the past?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, sorry, not trying to be like shitty about it, but just like, because I'm still wondering, like how this movie works time travel wise, because clearly it's a time travel movie, but it's all the same day. And then how does it impact the other world? As we discussed earlier, is it a pocket universe? Like, does time stand still in like the rest of the world as Murray's setting out?
What do you think, Ray? You actually haven't said anything to Daniel's theories. Like, do you think it's just a normal, like,
I want to say Ray's position is Daniel's rambling about a bunch of bullshit and
No, I
maybe.
think
No. I just mean
that's where I'm posing the question whenever
maybe.
he's giving his theories, and I'm like asking him questions whether or not he's trying to flesh out.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I want to know what you think then.
Do you have like any personal time travel?
As far as that goes, you think
whatever?
it's just straightforward shit where like everything's being reset? Is that simple?
Well, no.
For the sake of the plot, or
I mean,
do you think?
I think there might have been like some kind of
a bubble?
I this is not. I can't really say if I'm fleshing this out. This is kind of just like off the top of my head. Kind
No,
of thing.
sure,
It's
sure,
not
sure.
important.
Then
That's
maybe
the same
that's
with
been like
him,
about
man. You
90%
think
of my rants this episode is based on like
logic,
less than
research,
30 minutes
thorough
of space
planning.
between watching the movie and you guys showing up to
days
get ready
of
to record.
thought.
So a lot of the stuff during the episodes is like, okay, maybe this, maybe this. So I
Well,
didn't
see,
know if
that's
that
why I
occurred
was.
for you,
I
but-
made him. I
Do
made.
you know
I
how many
mentioned.
12 acts it took him to think of these theories?
Well, when I mentioned about the money and stuff,
most
like
of one.
he had the money. Like,
Exactly.
was he constantly stealing it? Those, I mean, when I'm asking a question, is this because like I'm thinking that, but like
yeah.
question.
But
Sure,
it just,
but
but I think it was like
I,
later in the day because everyone's like back in the town because at the top of the day it was like everyone's trying to work towards the fucking Punxsutawney Phil situation. So
well, yeah. Well, so the other thing is that like when I asked about like is the whole world being affected by that? See, I was
Right.
thinking, was the world being affected by that, or is it just him in a constant loop? Why didn't he age? Like
And then-
all those questions are my like
and then
thoughts of
also,
the movie
like,
itself.
what if part of the time loop was why that blizzard rolled in because when the events happened and rolled out, it stopped time, put them in this pocket universe. So like, yeah, maybe the blizzard actually should have passed and just give them like dumped a bunch of snow
when the
and
cop
moved on
when the
as
cop
he
says
predicted in the beginning.
the cop says he's gonna like freeze to death if he continues on. Maybe
Yeah.
that was like something that some kind of catalyst that froze time
So
outside of that.
So
little
do you guys think that
realm.
there's a point where Bill Murray's like, fuck you, I'm going to risk it. And he walks
Maybe.
and then he dies and then wakes up at 6 a.m. again. Then he's like, oh, I guess that's not going to work.
That guy's like
Sure.
could have been like an off
Why not?
screen kind of
Yeah,
situation.
right.
Why
Because
You could have
Because, you know,
easily made that assumption.
if we followed Harold Ramey's suggestion of like 30 to 40 years,
You would assume he would have tried that at some point.
yeah, I mean, we saw maybe 100 days of that, maybe including all the slaps and shit.
Yeah.
That's being generous, but sure.
But the thing is, there's still
All
years.
the rest of it.
Yeah, 39 and a half, or
Offspring.
39 and 2/3 years.
Again,
to
like
go.
taking on every skill that
He
he
learns to
learned.
play the fucking piano. You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like
Right.
he takes on every skill, and so you have to take that as
Yeah.
like how many days did it take to learn that one skill, and then how many days it take to learn the next.
How many
skill.
days would you think it would take, Raheem, to learn the piano or
just
any
depends.
instrument?
If
Any
he-
instrument.
if
It
he-
depends. Okay, but like for you,
If
then,
he's
easy.
dedicating all, I mean,
Yeah,
he's going
yeah.
with the
Which
knowledge
what
that he
seems
doesn't
to
know.
be. He seems
right?
to be he's focusing on just that.
Right. I don't know.
only
I mean,
every day,
it just
every
depends
day.
how many hours a day is he dedicating to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
No. But like, then, if you had to guess, like, what would you think? A few months, a few years?
Honestly, if he was like spending all day,
Say he was like somewhat mediocre talent. Maybe he had
No,
like.
no, I'm going off the basis that he has zero talent when it comes to this, because he doesn't know any of this shit. you
Yeah.
know?
No, yeah, you're right.
So I mean, anyone can learn any of these things. It just takes time and practice. You know, even if you don't have the
yeah.
natural
'Cause, I
ability
mean,
to
he's
do it.
well,
the
he's
natural-
just he's
proclivity.
yeah,
playing
exactly.
covers and shit. So whatever.
So I mean, it could have taken him like, I guess in this case, like would have been like 6 months maybe.
How long would you think it would take you to learn the keyboard?
More am I giving me all day to learn this shit?
Sure.
I don't have anything else to do but learn this.
Let's give you the Bill Murray treatment. You're fucking stuck in this loop, bitch. Learn it.
I would say to get like fairly proficient, I would say about 6 months of all day.
Bill
Every
Murray
single-
proficient in his little fucking
Yeah, I'm
band
going to like the
shit.
level he's doing it because he seems pretty casual.
you're gonna sit there with the
like,
fucking sunglasses like an asshole.
Well, no, I'm just talking about the level. Of
Yeah,
playing
sorry.
that,
That was a really stupid detail in that scene.
well, he's just trying to be cool, man. Like,
Yeah.
he is cool at this point. The whole town fucking knows who he is. So I mean,
I could have done without sunglasses, but
well,
aside
that's
from
that's
that,
a
aside
minor
from that-
fucking like.
I know.
bitchy
That's what I
detail.
did say that. Minor detail.
Anyways,
6 months.
I'll say 6 months. Yeah.
6 solid months.
I'm just gonna go with my favorite scenes. The first suicide, jumping off the cliff with the fucking hedgehog.
it's a
or
hedgehog.
the
Groundhog.
groundhog, and then
Driving at the wheel.
The surface pig.
It's a nice pickup too. What a
the surface
waste.
thing.
What a fucking waste.
I would say. Well, I was actually gonna say the old man sequence. Of
word.
like because it's like a sentimental thing, but I think it's like I guess
Well,
it's one
like
of
it
those
was-
things
it
where
was-
he does like something really selfless. You know, to save someone, even though he knows he's gonna die, he's still trying to give him like some kind of comfort. You know,
Mhm.
that's I think that's a really nice scene. Yeah, man. I mean,
So
I-
ratings?
yeah.
We're gonna go with that.
I'll go first on this rating. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5. It's a movie I do enjoy, and it has like a very comedic but a heartwarming kind of thing. But it's like one of the few that I will accept of that kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
type of movie.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And
Because the ending is very fucking cheesy. It's very abrupt.
Only because it's Bill Murray. That's literally the only reason.
Yeah.
There aren't many movies that I will say that I actually do like a lot when it comes to like that kind of sentimental stuff. Especially when someone's trying to like learn something about themselves, they have to become charitable, they have to change their ways in order to get out of whatever time loop this is.
Sure.
And that's what this whole movie is.
Yeah. Fucking.
So again, one of the few that I do like, 4.5 out of 5 for me. As far as time travel rating is concerned, it's not really time travel, but it's a time loop. It
Still,
really does
know.
play like a hard role in this movie, so I'll give it like a 5 out of 5
Oh wow.
for me. Because it's not something that it's not linear. It doesn't really. We don't really know if it like stems off into like another
Right.
time thing. So like, is he just like in a time bubble or something? Who knows? I don't know. So yeah, that's it for me. Daniel.
Probably a 3.75 for the film overall. It's a great movie, but for some reason I really like Chris Elliott, and I was hoping for more of his kind of like sarcastic, kind of borderline dirtbag character to be more present in the movie. Then time travel wise, as you said, time loop or whatever. I think in my little head it's like a pocket universe thing, but I'm not sure how it all works. Haven't really tried to problematize it too deeply.
And it's like nothing's ever explained.
Right.
No,
you're just
No. So it's just
not
me
even
going
in the
like, okay,
slightest.
I'm trying to like fill in the blanks.
At this point, anybody's
we're
theorizing of it
speculating,
is probably correct because
Our
Yeah.
theory crafting is our
But
own bullshit.
kind of based on like the way that they kind of like on the time cop criteria, like how they explain this works. Probably to give it like a 1.5. Yeah, because there's no discussion of mechanisms.
No.
Like the only like borderline clever thing in this movie is when Phil decides to break that pencil next to his bed and go to sleep,
put it on top of
to see if like he is going back. You know, that's like the only thing where it like establishes like, oh, this is a time travel thing rather than hallucination
To where
or
he tries to
dream
change
or whatever.
That's true.
So I'd say overall very poor in the time travel department.
I'm thinking more adventures in time as opposed to time travel.
Adventures in time, probably a 3 if it's on that metric. But so I guess that maybe I have 3 ratings. You know, if it's time travel is we like, because then I guess
because I'm going through time travel. I'm under the impression time travel is like
all right. Let me
deliberate. You know, Roland?
I'll give us a 3.1. My favorite parts of the movie were actually just most of the dialogue. Not necessarily like all the things he goes and does. I think there was like a lot of really fun.
You just like him being a dick to people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just like all the banter.
I should have made mention of like one of the scenes is whenever the sequence and when he sees the insurance guy.
Oh,
fucking decks him.
Well, no, not even that, but like when he says he's like Phil, he's like Ned. He decks him, but whenever he sees him and then he's like starts.
Yeah, he hugs
like,
him and makes him.
Are you doing
yeah,
anything
he's
later?
like, yeah,
You doing
Scares
anything
the
later?
shit out of him.
What are you doing today? Can you call out? Or
Yeah.
whatever?
Yeah,
And then he
freaks
decides
out.
to like freak out and leave. You know,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Well, it's great. Yeah, I love a lot of like the band, like just most of the dialogue in this movie made me laugh. It was really funny stuff.
So adventure and time scale.
Oh yeah, I'd be right there with you. There's really nothing here as far as any of that goes. Adventure, I mean, in time travel, adventure, yeah, absolutely. I'd give this like a 2.5.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, that'll be it for us. We'll see you next time.
Laters.